This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube. Last week, TNA had their debut show on AMC. It's unknown really how much they're getting. I've heard people think somewhere between 8 and 10,000. Prior to that, they were on Access TV, which is owned by Anthem, the company that owns TNA. And they hadn't really released any ratings for over a year. So a lot of people have messaged me, hey, you're going to comment on TNA's brutal rating, blah, 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 blah. Well, they got a rating. They got a 0.04 rating. And some people think that's brutal, but to me, they beat Collision. Collision last week only did a 0.03 rating. So for TNA to beat Collision, that's pretty good. Will they be able to? I mean, they used AJ Styles. AJ Styles, a man that I beat 2 times in one night when he was New Japan champion. So maybe they should have used me because I'm in pretty good shape these days. I do have a ton of followers and so forth. But no, I got heat. Actually, someone asked TNA about me back in December of 2024. I had a friend. He's no longer my friend. He's a pretty shady guy, actually, but he's the agent of Swerve Strickland and a bunch of wrestlers. One time worked with Harry Smith and said, hey, could I pitch you to TNA? I think they might be interested in you. And apparently he pitched me to TNA in December 2024. And the response he got was that they're hiring only people right now that could work with WWE in the future. And they didn't see me as a guy that WWE would be interested in. And that would be true. And they are in affiliation with WWE. So that was the official reason. Of course, I did organize TNA's first ever Canadian tour, legit, December 2007 in 3 cities in Quebec. And the one city in Toronto, I hooked them up with the arena in Oshawa, and they ended up doing a pay-per-view there. The first Canadian pay-per-view. That was because of me hooking them up with the arena in Oshawa. So I actually have a bit of a history with them. I even helped them a little bit with their 2017 tour. But that was the answer. And I know this is not about my history with TNA. I'm just saying they didn't get that great of a rating, but they hadn't even hit a 0.01. in over a year, so it's an improvement, and they beat Collision, so that's something to hang your hat on. I mean, AEW is getting $180 million a year for Collision and Dynamite. Dynamite's only doing like 0.08s these days, so they're halfway to Dynamite's rating. Dynamite apparently, which has dropped like 59% in viewership in the past year, which is sad. Jim Ross apparently fell and is going to be out for a while. He is, from what I understand, the highest paid announcer in wrestling because he's legendary and AEW overpays people. But it seems like he's having a lot of health issues lately, and now he's fallen and hurt himself. So he's going to be out again. So, and I mean it seriously. I hope he's going to be all right. I was looking through the Wrestling Observer before I did this report to see what kind of upcoming attendance AEW has. It's under 1,000 to a little over 1,000 for the most part for their upcoming shows, other than Australia. They're coming back to Australia, and they got about 5,000 tickets out for that. You never heard of AEW Dynamite? Well, as I said, it's gone down 59% in viewership since last year, so there's a reason. The 2 most popular AEW stars on YouTube are Edge and MJF, by the way. Not Will Ospreay, who they paid a fortune for, and ratings have only gone down since they hired him. WWE Unreal has dropped today. I'm about halfway through the first episode. I can't sit through an episode of Raw, so I'm making it through, and I am going to do a custom review of it. I'll do one of every of the episodes, because to me it's interesting. But is it going to help them in the long run? Yes, it's more interesting than their TV product. It's all about getting Triple H over as this great writer. But honestly, I don't know if it's going to help more people want to tune into the problem. A lot of people like Toni Storm. A lot of people don't like how she's being used in this dancing gimmick with which Orange Cassidy's doing with her. And by the way, they're hitting terribly low ratings. So maybe they should switch it up because Toni Storm is one of their most popular wrestlers. Probably their most popular legit female wrestler, and they're doing stupid stuff with her. Why do I think modern wrestling? What kills a modern wrestling company? The lack of kayfabe and believability. The lack of believability is a big thing. I think that's what kills it for me personally. Someone says, I can tell you something about AEW. Dynamite Kid Jr. is under a 3-year deal and has had only 4 matches. Here's something else stupid. They hired Dynamite Kid Jr., who needs more. It's not like he was that hot on the indies or anything, but they don't hire Davey Boy Smith Jr., a seasoned guy, real tough athlete. But no, we'll pay Dynamite Kid Jr. a contract, and Harry Davey Boy Smith Jr. is killing it in All Japan, but he's believable. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And there's just so many guys in AEW. There's so much fat to cut in AEW. But I'm going to go back and finish the first episode of Unreal, and I'll give you guys reviews of all of the episodes. Let me know. I heard the actual first episode of TNA wasn't very good. So I hope it gets better. And by the way, if you ever want someone who could bring believability to your product, don't call that guy that talked to you about me the other year. Call me directly. I'm not that hard of a guy to reach. And hey, at one point, Tommy Dreamer, who's on their booking committee, did try and get me hired in WWE. But it eventually did happen, so I thank him for that. But he has a lot of pull in TNA. But let me know what you guys think of all that in the comments, and let me know what you guys think of WWE Unreal, or if you've seen, speaking of shows bombing, CM Punk's acting movie Night Patrol was in last place on the weekend. One of the movies that was released last weekend, it was out and it got last place. Is there any new Dark Side of the Rings coming out? Yes. There's a new season being made. But they seem to be stretching for content with each season that goes by. Last year's season was really weak, so I haven't heard much about who the subjects are going to be this year. But make sure you subscribe. I'll keep you updated on that. And I'll be back with my Unreal review.